doing a lot of criminal investigation, criminal defense or persecution.
Everybody would be interested in to hear. Background in criminal law, Assistant Attorney General, the tenure of Pam Bondi, Attorney General for Florida,
General, yeah.
Correct. Attorney General's Miami office.
What kind of case taking most of the time?
The majority of the cases I have in family law. No matter how the economy is, a lot of cases with international family law is very alive. Every single case is different. You have to special approach how to resolve it.
Hi everyone, welcome to Uncovering the Truth with Victor Elbeze, private investigator, South Florida, Miami, and the world. Today I have a special guest. Her name is Tamara Mandik. I'm going to have her to introduce herself. Tamara, can you explain a little bit about your background? I think you were doing a lot of criminal investigation, not investigation, but criminal defense or persecution or things like that.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Victor. I'm happy to be here today and answer questions for the audience. A lot of topics that I think everybody would be interested in to hear. Yes, my name is Tamara Mandik. I'm a lawyer located in Miami, Florida, but I work throughout the whole state.
Of course, yeah.
Yes, I have a background in criminal law, as I used to be Assistant Attorney General during the tenure of Pam Bondi. And I was, yes, back in the days, and while she was Attorney General for Florida.
Yeah.
Correct. And I was located in Attorney General's Miami office working on death penalty cases.
For example, what do you do the most? What kind of case are you taking most of the time? I mean, your bread and butter, like
percentage-wise, let's say, I would say probably right now the majority of the cases I have in family law.
Okay.
Simply because not because I kind of wanted it. I mean, I like those cases, but simply the market kind of put me in a position to accept more and more these cases. Mm-hmm. I guess it's a market thing.
Of course.
A lot of people, no matter how the economy is or situation, people get divorced. People have issues with paternity cases, child support cases. I mean, family law is such a broad concept.
Yes.
A lot of cases with international
custody, maybe.
Yeah, international custody, domestication of foreign divorce decree, foreign paternity degrees, judgments, and also a lot of cases where one party lives outside of the country. So there is lots of family law is very alive and very diverse. And from my experience, what I can tell is that every single case is different. It has something that makes it different. So you have to have kind of like a special approach how to resolve it.
Okay. Yeah. So it's interesting because I had a client that contacted me a few months ago, and he was married with a lady from, originally she was from Brazil, and they divorced, and she took the daughter and she left to Brazil. Mm-hmm. And she was not supposed to do it because the custody was 50-50, okay? And she disappeared, and she went directly to Brazil, and with her family. And apparently there is some specific laws between countries that you can go and grab the child and come back with the child.
Absolutely not. Well,
I mean, it's a very complicated
situation. It's very complicated situation, and I've had a couple of cases like that. First of all, so everybody understands, there is something called a Hague Convention.
Yes.
That deals with international, like a kidnapping of the children. But that convention, like every international convention, has certain there has to be certain understanding of the convention. So in a way, in order for that convention to apply, you have to have a final order or final judgment of like time sharing or child custody. Now we call it time sharing. In order to be executed, then you have to have a country that is a signatory to the convention, and then in order to be applied here in United States has to have a signed treaty with that country, meaning like you have a convention, but also each single country that is a signatory to the convention has to have like a bilateral, like a contract regarding that convention with United States in order, for example, to be executed and applied here here in United States. So there is lots of requirement, and it's a federal case that has to be filed in that scenario. I had a lot of like cases where a parent would take the child, for example, to Russia. That is a problem because Russia and United States don't have bilateral agreement regarding this convention. So that creates a lot of issues how to execute a judgment or how to deal with the situation when the child is, I mean, let's put it that way, taken away or kidnapped. And a lot of parents or parent who intends to do something like that, they pretty much know what they're doing and where they can, take the kid and
get away with it.
Get away with it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's very, very, very complicated.
Yeah, in my case, it was Brazil. Brazil, they have special accord with US to recover she's not supposed to do that.
Right.
And but it takes forever.
It's a long process.
It takes take 2 years before you get your child back.
And then you have to you need to hire lawyers in Brazil who are going to start process because the child was taken to Brazil.
Yes.
Right. So you have to address that issue over there. Legal process over there is different than in United States. It takes a long time.
That's interesting. Now there is if I understand, in Florida, I think it was last year, July of last year, 2024, a lot of new laws came about family laws for divorce. We were talking about alimonies, calculation of alimony, child custody, all those new regulation, child support came up. And a lot of people don't understand very well because it's brand new. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, regarding the child support, I mean, it's the concept of the child support is, I mean, always has been the same. It's the mathematical calculation. So in litigation, it's very hard to kind of predict how it's going to be because, like I said, every case is different.
Yeah.
So the problem that I've seen in my practice is that one of the parents usually tries to hide the income because in order to determine the amount of child support, you have to know the income of the party, and you have a lot of people who purposefully choose not to work, or to work minimally, or to work and get the cash payment, which is, when client comes and like, okay, I know he's working, let's say, for example, in construction business, or I don't know, like a car mechanic, or hairdresser. Those are the occupations where you can work a lot with cash. That's or right. Like limo driver. You have like your pool of clients, and you simply say like, okay, I want to be paid in cash for such and such reason, and people would, your clients would pay like that. Mm-hmm. It's always like almost impossible to prove. You can, a lot of these things you definitely can make a sense of, especially when, as a lawyer, how you do it, you calculate all the parties in any family case, they have to file financial affidavits and do the financial disclosures. And, I've seen, and this is like all the time that I'm seeing, you have people filling out the financial affidavit and they put income kind of minimal or something like, I don't know, for example, $5,000 a month. And then you have the portion where you fill out the expenses, and you see it, somebody has expenses of like $10,000 a month. So always brings up a question. Okay, so how do you do? It's not like, you have to make up like $1,000 a month. So, okay, you will do something. You will drive Uber. Somebody's going to help you, family, whatever. But like always such a disparity. Every month, like how do you do that? So you can immediately, something is wrong, and then you have to investigate further, use private investigators such as you, and, subpoena the bank, subpoena people, do the depositions.
Statement.
Exactly.
Let me ask you a question about...
Just one more point.
Yes.
It comes to the point that it becomes expensive litigation, because that is what the clients and people are most concerned with. Like you need to prove all of that. And to prove all of that, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you don't have, clients who are, who have significant income to cover all these expenses, not to mention forensic accountants to track the money, private investigators, it gets really costly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
No, it's true. It's lawyers. I mean, divorce. It
can cost money. Yeah.
For example, for child custody today, the court and the system in Florida, it's a no-fault state anyway. So, but it's 50-50. In that case, when it's 50-50, that there is no more child support. Or there is still child support?
Yeah, you can still have a child support.
Okay.
Well, presumption by Florida law is that both parents should have equal time sharing. That is the presumption. Now, that can be changed either by agreement of the parties. Sure. You decide how you want to have your schedule, or you will have to present to the evidence to the court that for some reason it's in the best interest of the child that one of the parents has more time sharing than the other one. And those can be, like objective circumstances. For example, a lot of cases of people who drive long-distance truck drivers.
Yes.
So they're physically not capable to execute 50-50 time sharing because they simply they're not here.
Yeah.
For example. Or you can have, instances where, you have to prove that one of the parents, for example, has an alcohol problem or is abusive or has a drug problem.
Or condition of something.
Yeah, so in that case, definitely the normal parent would have majority of the time sharing. But to go back to your question, assuming that we have equal time sharing,
yes,
it doesn't mean that child support is not going to be an issue, because the child support is still determined by the income of the parties, which means that if there is a disparity of the income, you can still have a parent who makes more money to be responsible to pay certain amount of child support to the other parent, even though it's equally shared, the time sharing.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Question: did you ever had this kind of experience regarding for child custody that the mother got a new boyfriend and the boyfriend is a sex offender or a child predator?
Actually, I did.
Okay, that's interesting because it's coming a lot lately.
Yes, I did. There was a case, I remember it was in Orlando years ago, where it was a paternity case because they weren't married, and there was a small girl, and I think she was at that time maybe, 4 or 5 years old, beautiful girl, and the father and the mother, they were separated for for quite some time.
Yes.
Right, and the father found out about the
new boyfriend,
and the mother had her own background in some, it was a drug abuse, whatever was happening. So he got suspicious and wanted to check, and guess what? He checked, and the boyfriend had a history of of some, sexually related offenses.
Offense, yeah.
Exactly. And they were living together. And I remember we were fighting that case, and we got the court order back in the days that she cannot have the child in any possible way next to the boyfriend.
Predator, yeah.
Exactly, in any way, even though there was no allegation that he was doing anything to the girl.
Of course.
Now, but that's not the point.
Yes.
The point is obvious and objective.
Of course.
And that was the court order. And then I remember that once, because the father, who was my client, didn't believe that she's going to stick to that court order, and actually he caught her in the public meeting, all three of them, the mother, the child, and the boyfriend. So then we had to file
like a
motion to the court. It was just
an emergency motion, because it's an emergency motion. Look, I can guarantee if you have this kind of situation that the mother has a boyfriend with a sex predator or a child predator or pedophile or anything that has been convicted in the past, I can guarantee that something bad is going to happen.
Absolutely. I would say not even to have a conviction, even to have a arrest or a case, even
related to that.
Related to that. Just think logically. There is a presumption nobody's
of course
guilty until proven.
Yes.
But simply the notion that that there was some case pending, no matter how it was. Even if it was dismissed, being a prosecutor, doesn't mean that, if you don't convict somebody or if you dismiss the case, doesn't mean that somebody is still innocent. It just means that, he might be guilty, but there was not enough evidence or something, So knowing something like that, would you put your child
That's crazy. I agree
in
with
presence? It just doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. I think everybody should be very, very careful to whom they expose their children.
Absolutely. And listen, there is so many things in family law, divorce, so custody, alimony, for example. Alimony today, alimony changed. The law changed, no? It's not like it used to be. Before, we used to have alimony for life.
Right. Well, not anymore.
Huh?
Not anymore.
That's a good news, no?
I would think so.
It depends on
It depends on which side.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But how they calculating the time frame for?
You still have this like short-term marriage, mid-term marriage, and long-term marriage. So there is no life alimony anymore. So I guess that's definitely a breakthrough. But with this alimony, also I would say it's always the biggest issue during the divorce.
Proof of income.
Exactly. First of all, proof of income, but then also when you have, let's say, marriages that took some time, took some years, and when everything was perfect between two people, one of the spouses, usually a woman, wasn't working during the marriage at all.
Mm-hmm.
I see that a lot.
She was a housewife.
She was a housewife or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then, you get children in that marriage. And then after some years, somebody, usually a man, decides he wants to divorce.
Yeah.
And then you come to the position like, but I don't want to pay alimony. Well, that's the problem. Because at least, there is something called, as you know, temporary alimony,
mm-hmm.
temporary attorney's fees during the pendency of the case. You have to pay it, especially, you're the only one working and you have income for that. But people at that point, they don't
realize.
They don't realize, and nobody wants to do that at that time. But, and I usually ask my clients, like, okay, so why did you even is it even normal, that somebody, like, doesn't work at all during the
The period of the
during
the marriage,
during
yeah.
the marriage. I mean, at today's date, I mean, you have daycare, you have
Everything.
like everything. You can afford to have a nanny.
First of all, she
like,
doesn't have a car yet. She doesn't have a job. She need to find a job.
Exactly.
She need to rebuild her
To
career.
rebuild.
Maybe she went to college. Maybe she has a degree. But
Yeah.
for 7 years, 10 years, she never
Exactly.
worked. So
It's-
obviously, she disconnected with the
totally
world,
from the
you
world,
know?
and it's very hard to do that. Rehabilitation into to go back to reality.
Yes.
And then you have another spouse who now usually a man is already like moved on, usually has new girlfriend,
girlfriend?
Yeah,
Yeah.
new life, everything, but you still have,
Sometimes it's the opposite. Huh?
or it can be, but majority is like,
Yeah, majority
is
true. It's true.
is like that, and it's very traumatic, very traumatic, because the spouse has to build a new career.
Yeah.
And especially if it was somebody who didn't have a career or had a career a long time ago, but then the other side has to pay alimony
Child support
and child support, so it's
lawyers
and
expense
lawyers,
fees.
exactly, all of that.
And it's true because many times the women don't have any income,
Yeah.
and when they retain a lawyer, the lawyer say, "Okay, how are you going to pay me?" So sometimes they're gonna. I think that they have a credit card from the husband. I mean, a credit card from the accountant. They pay directly with the credit card,
Right.
and they pay the retainer. But after the retainer,
After that, yeah, it's hard
that's
to
it.
pay. Yeah.
So the lawyer filed, I believe, a motion in court
For temporary
for
attorney's
temporary
fees.
attorney fees
Yeah,
that
yeah.
the husband is going to have to pay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only assuming
But
that
this is very important because a lot of women don't know that. They don't know. They already say, "Oh my God, how I'm going to do?" The lawyer charged me.
Yeah.
I have to pay $400-500 an hour of
Right.
lawyer's fees. I don't have this money, because
Right.
she's not working. She doesn't have access of the money.
Right. I mean, in that case, I mean, you have to have other side, let's call it husband, because it's majority of the cases like that.
Yes.
Who actually can afford, has an ability to pay that. So, I mean, sometimes.
How do you do? You freeze the bank account?
I mean, you just file the motion, and you have to prove that the one side has a need for temporary fees, and the other side has ability to pay.
Yeah.
The problem is, like, if somebody you cannot show that has ability to pay, then even though he is paying his lawyer, but doesn't have a lot of excess money or doesn't have assets or savings or something to pay for the wife's expenses.
That could be a problem.
That can be a problem. But if you have somebody who has bank accounts with, I don't know, certain amount of money there,
Sure.
then no problem. That's the easy part.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, a lot of people don't know. I mean, they really don't know, and they feel completely vulnerable because their worlds completely
Right.
collapse. One day you wake up, your
It's
safe place is gone.
and it's gone.
Yeah.
Well, every divorce is hard on people.
very hard,
It's
yeah.
very hard emotionally, financially.
It's a trauma.
It's definitely it's a
that's
trauma.
trauma,
It's
yeah.
a trauma in every way. Even if you have the best divorce ever, which I did have, I would say maybe few only, where people would just
Agree.
sit down,
Settle.
agree, be fair to each other, and everything was like done in no time. But that's really
Even with children or without children?
with and without both.
But with children, it's more difficult because
It is, but there were some nice people who
Really
who
understand,
were
huh?
civilized, who understood, and who appreciated the life that they had together with that person. And so that I mean, when I see something like that, I'm really full of respect for both
and they
parties.
they save a lot of money on lawyers'
And
fees
they save
and everything.
exactly. They save money on the lawyers, and they save themselves from aggravation, from
Of course.
from like
anxiety,
trauma, like involvement of family, friends. Like it's not easy, and it's not something that people should go through.